Yo, what's good with you? Back in black with another Enlisted video. If you guys are new to the channel and you love shooting games just like me, make sure you aim for that like button and shoot that subscribe button as well. It'll help you find better teammates and it'll improve your skill-based matchmaking. Back at it again with another gameplay analysis. This time I have a confrontation on koinplatz, playing as the German faction, one of my personal favorite factions to play as. Of course, the whole point of these gameplay analysis is to critique my gameplay to not only make myself a better player, but hopefully make you guys a better player at the same time. Starting right out, what do we got? I started out with my premium MP40 with the dual magazine squad. I'm sure you're wondering why I didn't choose a squad that had an engineer in it. I would like to let you know that this is one of the more peculiar gameplays that I have gathered in a while, considering the fact that I didn't even know I had crossplay turned on for this one. So I was actually in here with a bunch of PC players, which isn't necessarily the norm for me. Not that I necessarily feel deterred or anything by it, but one of the things that I do know about PC players, considering that I play on PC myself sometimes, is that they definitely play the objective more than your average console player. So I guess you could say the reason that I led with my premium squad that had no engineers in it whatsoever is because I expected somebody who was on my team to also put down a rally point, which they did, which you will see very soon. As you see, I'm scouting the first point with my first dude. That didn't really work out so well. He got laid out, but I did come back with the second guy and make short work of the same squad that took care of me, I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, one of the things that turns out to be the case with this point is that we did not catch it first try, despite my efforts leading with the firepower that is my premium MP40 squad. And the only thing that I can say about this is I don't even know if you can purchase it anymore, but if you can and you do like the Berlin campaign, which I don't really see why you wouldn't, it's one of the better campaigns in the game, consisting of very tight and intense urban warfare in my personal opinion. But I'm going off on a tangent. Definitely would recommend that dual magazine MP40 premium squad if you can still get your hands on it. I know it was a like a early access pack for the people who wanted to play the Berlin campaign early, but I know Enlisted has a lot of sales and whatnot, so I don't see why you wouldn't be able to get your hands on it at some point in the future, if not right now. So yeah, as you can see, I'm trying my best here to clear them out. I wouldn't even say I'm doing that hot of a job, unfortunately. This is one of those gameplays that pick up more in the second half than they do in the first half, so bear with me please. If you are a viewer, I do appreciate you. You are the best. But yeah, they made short work of my premium squad, and for some odd reason it seems like most of my team spent their time helping that guy build the rally point, which I'm happy is there, don't get me wrong, but we could have definitely used some more bodies on the point. So I come back, recently bought that Irma EMP, wanted to give that a shot. Noticed that there's a tank down here in the middle of the square, and decided to switch to my handy dandy explosive pack, which might be one of the, if not the most useful, what's the word I want to use? The most useful item in the game, I guess you could say. That being said, I unfortunately hit the front side of the tank with my first explosive pack, which didn't really do much but maybe knock out his treads so he couldn't move. And I mean, yeah, it forced the crew to bail out and we killed him after the fact, but I would definitely prefer to knock those tanks out with one explosive pack instead of having to do all that extra busy work. So as you can see, what I did wrong there is I threw the explosive pack on the front side of the tank. What I would recommend is throwing it either on the very top of the tank or maybe on the back side of, like, on top of the engine, if that makes any sense. If you can throw it there, it'll be a one hit blow up every time, or at the very least his engine will catch on fire and he'll blow up eventually, which that's something you just want to try to keep a note of if you're fighting the tank by yourself. Fortunately for me, I had a teammate helping me try to kill him that time. Like I said, we lost the first point, unfortunately, due to my team's lack of ambition on trying to secure it. But I guess one of the better things is that we got to come back and use my machine gun squad. And usually when you lose the first point in confrontation, the second point that is available to you is a lot easier to catch because you're already like halfway there, whereas the opponents have to wait before they can move up. so it kind of gives you a bit of an advantage. Unfortunately, as you can see, only one of my machine gunners is left on my way to the point. I'm sure you saw we got bombed out by the enemy aircraft, which is also a lot more prevalent in this campaign than it is in the Japanese campaign for one reason or another, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to focus on the Berlin campaign today. MG34 with the Panzernormal magazine is a godsend, one of my favorite weapons in the game, aside from the MP40 and the Thompson and the FG42, of course. I've noticed a common theme that most of my favorite guns are German or American for some odd reason, but hopefully we get a little more variety in the future, so that can be encouraged. I won't say there's too much going on with this point. It seems like the enemy, for one reason or another, it kind of seems like they just ran out of steam and didn't want to push for some odd reason. I don't know, maybe they were trying to elongate the game on purpose, but you'll see a little later on that may turn out to be their downfall, because it seemed like they had the momentum in the first half, but then they kind of just let us catch the second point super easy, so it made it easier for us to come back. So I decided to use my premium squad again and try and catch this close quarters area point, I guess you could call it. I don't even know, Ministry of Internal Affairs, if I'm reading that correctly. This is definitely a point I would recommend using your assaulters or machine gunners on, anything that has, you know, close range capability. And this is definitely, I feel like this is my best squad when it comes to, you know, making short work of the enemy and using as much firepower as possible. Not only that, I get extra experience at the same time for using them. So I guess, you know, aside from the MP40 being one of the better weapons in the game, you know, even after the nerf, in my personal opinion, I just try to use them as much as possible to, you know, get as much XP as possible. So it might seem like I'm spamming them a lot, but I'm not necessarily trying to. Anyways, they're trying to give us a run for our money on this middle point again, but I guess they kind of ran out of steam again, or I don't know. It kind of seems like my team kind of picked up the pace a little bit, because I see a lot more of my friendlies on the point, whereas in the beginning of the game I didn't really see anybody at all. So we catch that point. I notice a tank is in the alleyway, so what I decide to do is I go around the side, and this is what I'm talking about. You throw it on the back of the his engine, automatic blow up every time. And that's like, isn't that like my is that my second or my third tank that I blew up? I'm not even sure. Neither here nor there. Since we just caught a point, another thing I would definitely recommend, sorry for that guy, another thing I would definitely recommend is definitely building a rally point. Oh, hit him with the you gotta be quicker than that, boy. What you thought this was? He thought he had a kill. But yeah, like I was saying, after you catch a point in confrontation, one of the main things I would definitely recommend is you want to get a rally point up as soon as possible, not only to give your team a forward spawn point, but because of the simple fact, like I said earlier in the game, when we lost the first point, we spawned back further to the next point than the enemy did, even though they just caught a point that we were just at. So for you, if you make a rally point, it'll make it easier for your team to keep up the momentum and keep that you know, that streak of catching points going. As you can see, we're getting a lot of momentum going on right here, right now. That's like my third or fourth tank that I blew up, and just laying waste to some Russians with some STGs. My aim is horrible, but my Walther PP will make up for it, which is also a very good pistol. I kind of wish they would buff pistols in a sense. Like maybe if you, I mean, they're not horrible, but it's like if you don't hit them in the upper chest or the neck or the head, pistols are kind of bad. So as you can see, I kind of use that as a last resort kind of thing. You know, I ran out of bullets with my STG, so I didn't really have much of a choice. But when I come back with this machine gun squad, I always feel like the tide is in my favor, mostly because the MG34 is just, I don't want to say it's overpowered, but like in the right person's hands, I don't really see many things that can out DPS, out aim, or out damage this weapon. And you'll see it right here. Like, this is the part of the gameplay where I definitely start picking it up, in my personal opinion, as far as the kills are concerned. And then I just start like wasting everybody on the entire bridge. And you would think they would catch this point, right, considering how the bar is mostly red. No, that's not what happens at all. And this is just a case of me having 75 bullets in my magazine and some decent aim. And Yeah, man. Not only that, I mark the ground in front of me. I'm pretty sure my AI is picking up some of the kills as well. It's getting kind of rough out there for them. And one of the neato things about this squad as well is, again, I have 2 engineers. So if I ever need more ammo, then there's no issue whatsoever. You can see how they have a tank on the other side of the bridge coming up to try and support. You will also notice that I have a bomber in my squad with the handy dandy Panzerfaust, so I don't even have to use the explosive pack if I don't want to. I can keep back at a distance and take care of the tank that way. And even if I'm not using the Panzerfaust, he has a FG42 too, which is also one of the more prevalent weapons in the game. So I guess you could say in a point, what I'm trying to say is that the German faction, once you actually get them leveled up to a high point, their weaponry is, I don't want to say superior, but it's like, it's really good. And like, I'm pretty sure Berlin has the most playtime out of all the factions for me in the entire game. Second would either have to be Normandy US or Moscow Russians, which I'm not too sure. I'll check the stats on that later. But yeah, man, the strategy, it wasn't really much going on this point. It was really just a matter of everybody's being funneled into the bridge, and I had the superior weaponry and a bunch of MG34s and MG42s and Panzerfaust and grenades. I just spammed as much as I could as far as bullets and explosives are concerned, and I guess I wouldn't say my team necessarily helped me out a whole lot, but you know, they were there. I saw somebody else build a rally point, and one of the neato things about catching this point is that they gave us another it wasn't even a rally point, it was just a regular flag spawn. They gave us another handy, like, look at that, look what they gave me, look what the game gave me. This is like my 4th or 5th tank, I'm pretty sure, that I've gotten to blow up, and the game basically gifted me this one because of the spawn that I just, you know, earned from catching that bridge, which, I mean, I'm not going to complain. I do feel like I earned it the way I made work at everybody on that bridge, in my personal opinion. And, you know, see buddy over there trying to get the repair off. No can do, buddy. I'm sorry. Didn't have an explosive pack on my guy. Ordered my other guy to blow it up. AI actually being responding and doing what you tell it to do for once. Very rare occasion. But I shouldn't say that because, you know, they just put out an update to make the AI even better. So that'll be nice to see how that plays out. This gameplay is pre-update if you cannot tell. But the point remains valid. Again, I come to the last point. This is a close quarters area, the apartments with my MP40. You can't really go wrong with a submachine gun in a lot of the areas in the Berlin campaign, because a lot of this is predicated on urban warfare, and a lot of that is close quarters and, you know, around the alleyways and street to street and building to building, so on and so forth. So definitely would recommend having an assaulter, this premium squad if you can get it. The machine gunners, you can never go wrong with that. If you do so happen to catch yourself in a long range situation, the neat thing about the FG42 is that it has a select fire option where you can switch it between single fire and fully automatic. So in a sense, I feel like the Germans have the most versatile arsenal in the entire game, especially as it pertains to, you know, defending their home turf, which is Berlin. I don't know why, like, well, I do know why, because in the early game when the Russians were more popular, it was kind of hard to match up, especially when they had a bunch of PPSHs and all we had was bolt actions and Gewehr 43s and MP40s with only 32 bullets, where they had 70 something bullets in their submachine guns. But neither here nor there. Like I said, the balance is a lot more even now, in my personal opinion, or I'm sure the gameplay will make you think it feels that way. I don't know how the experience is for everybody when they play this campaign, but in my personal opinion, it is way better than it was in the beginning. So all that being said, as a main takeaway, what I could say about Confrontation is that you want to build a rally point every time you catch a point, and then if you know you're about to lose a point, you might as well fall back and then build some defenses. I know I didn't really use the engineer as much as I should have in this gameplay, but this is one of those, again, this is one of those more rare gameplays where, since I'm playing with PC players, I know I can rely on them a lot more to do things like build rally points. They didn't really build any structures, which again, nobody really does. That's something that I try to preach as much as possible. see they had a tank on the outside. Tanks can't catch points, so that was kind of, and it's in the building, so I don't really, what was you even really about to do with that tank? I don't know. Neither here nor there though. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and the gameplay analysis. If you did, don't forget to aim for that like button, shoot that subscribe button as well, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Let me know what campaign and what faction you want to see down in the comment section. Black Guy out.